Hello, everyone. Welcome to Royal Telly, your go-to channel for all things royal. I'm your host, Chloe. Here at Royal Telly, we explore the fascinating intersections of royalty, media, and society. Today, we're unraveling a tangled tale, one marked by personal tragedy and media manipulation. We're diving into the complex narrative surrounding Thomas Markle's medical emergency and the role of tabloid media in this heart-rending saga. So buckle up, folks. We're about to embark on a journey into the intricate world of tabloid media and its profound influence on personal lives. In the heart of this tale, we have Thomas Markle's medical emergency, a situation far from ordinary. This episode, filled with heartache and confusion, isn't just a story about a father and a daughter. Instead, it unveils the toxic architecture of tabloid media, which has alarmingly weaponized a vulnerable man's pain for profit. The facts, as eventually clarified by even the hostile outlets like the Daily Mail, dismantle the week of speculation entirely. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex's spokesperson, confirmed that she attempted to contact her father immediately upon learning of his surgery. This single clarification exposed how the entire narrative, one that portrayed Meghan as cold and negligent, was built on a deliberate omission of fact. The truly disturbing revelation is the pipeline of information that has replaced the private father-daughter bond. When Thomas Markle learned of his medical emergency, he chose to contact the press before reaching out to any member of his family. The first person to receive this deeply personal, critical update was Caroline Graham, a senior editor at the Daily Mail. She then became the gatekeeper, relaying the news to Thomas Jr. and Samantha. This places a tabloid journalist at the epicenter of a family crisis. It confirms the pattern that Meghan and her mother, Doria Ragland, have already illuminated in the Netflix documentary. Thomas Markle's profound willingness to participate in the tabloid circus. As Doria Ragland put it in the documentary, she was absolutely stunned that Tom would become part of this circus. Meghan herself revealed the initial devastating betrayal where her father allowed journalists to pretend to be him to extract private information, a breach she only noticed because she received a message addressed to Meghan, a name he never used. This confirmed that her father's channel to her had been compromised and was being used by strangers for tabloid-worthy information. As we can see, this story was not just about a father and a daughter, but a toxic demonstration of the power of tabloid media. What truly disturbed many was the pipeline of information that emerged from this situation. Let's delve into that. When Thomas Markle found out about his medical emergency, rather than reaching out to his family, he chose to contact the press first. The recipient of this deeply personal news wasn't a concerned family member, but Caroline Graham, a senior editor at the Daily Mail. She then became the gatekeeper, passing on the information to Thomas Jr. and Samantha. This sequence of events placed a tabloid journalist at the heart of a family crisis. It confirmed a pattern that Meghan and her mother, Doria Ragland, had already spotlighted in a Netflix documentary. Thomas Markle's deep-seated willingness to participate in the tabloid circus. Doria Ragland voiced her shock in the documentary, expressing that she was absolutely stunned that Tom would become part of this circus. Meghan herself shared the initial heartbreaking betrayal where her father allowed journalists to pose as him to extract private information, a breach she only discovered when she received a message addressed to Meghan, a name her father never used. This was a clear signal that her father's communication channel with her had been infiltrated and was being used by strangers to gather juicy, tabloid-worthy information. It's no exaggeration to say that Meghan essentially lost her father years ago, not just to estrangement, but to the influence of figures like Dan Wooten, Piers Morgan, and Caroline Graham of the Daily Mail. His actions have shown a willingness to prioritize media attention over maintaining a private relationship with his daughter, a choice that has led to immense public scrutiny and pain. In conclusion, the pipeline of information that has emerged in this situation isn't just disturbing, it's deeply damaging. It's a stark reminder of how the media can manipulate personal narratives for their own gain, often at the expense of real relationships and real people. Sadly, Meghan's father was not just lost to estrangement, but to the influence of figures within the tabloid media. The spectacle that followed was nothing short of a tabloid circus. The curtains lifted to reveal a scene that was as heartbreaking as it was predictable. Thomas Markle, in a move that once again illustrated his willingness to trade familial ties for tabloid headlines, invited photographers into his hospital room. This wasn't a moment of vulnerability, it was a spectacle staged for the consumption of the Daily Mail's readership. What followed was a series of photographs that seemed far from incidental. They were designed to paint a picture of a man isolated, a man left to face his health crisis alone. Alongside these images was commentary designed to pressurize Meghan, suggesting that she had made no effort to reach out, further adding fuel to the narrative that she was a cold, negligent daughter. But in their eagerness to vilify Meghan, the Daily Mail committed an oversight that would unravel their carefully constructed narrative. They confirmed that Meghan's contact email had gone to an address Thomas Markle had abandoned years earlier. The email, which was her attempt at reaching out, had fallen into a digital abyss, never reaching its intended recipient. The problem here wasn't Meghan's inaction, far from it. The problem lay in Thomas Markle's outdated contact information and his decision to keep an open, active line to the very tabloids that have a vested interest in harming his youngest daughter. The issue was not Meghan's supposed negligence, but rather her father's misguided allegiance to the tabloids. This spectacle, while unfortunate, was an apt representation of the toxic relationship between Thomas Markle and the tabloid media. It was a staged spectacle that collapsed under its own premise, revealing the sad truth of a father who chose to weaponize his pain for profit at the expense of his relationship with his daughter. It wasn't Meghan's inaction that was the issue, but her father's reliance on outdated contact information and his active communication with the tabloids. The true tragedy here is not a story of a father and daughter estranged, but a tale of a man so caught up in the circus of the tabloids that he lost sight of what truly matters, family. As we have seen, the world of tabloid media is complex and often harmful. The saga of Thomas Markle and his daughter, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, is a prime example of how the media can distort facts and manipulate narratives for their own gain. Let's take a step back and look at what we've uncovered. Firstly, we saw that Meghan did attempt to reach out to her father upon learning of his medical emergency. This fact was conveniently left out of the initial reports, painting a picture of Meghan as cold and uncaring. Next, we delved into the troubling relationship between Thomas Markle and the Daily Mail. We discovered that a senior editor of the Daily Mail was the first to know about Thomas's medical emergency, even before his own family. We also discussed the sad reality of how Thomas Markle willingly participates in this media circus, going as far as allowing tabloid journalists to impersonate him to extract private information. Lastly, we looked at the staged spectacle of Thomas Markle inviting photographers into his hospital room, further fueling the media frenzy. In conclusion, it's crucial to question what we read and consume from the media. The narrative isn't always as it seems, and often there are vulnerable individuals caught in the crossfire. Thank you for joining us today on Royal Telly. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Chloe, and I'll see you next time. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect. We've delved deep into the intricacies of a tragic family scenario where a father's pain was exploited for tabloid fodder. We've seen how a narrative was carefully constructed and deconstructed, revealing the power of the media in shaping our perspectives. It's a sobering reminder of how a single omission, a solitary piece of misinformation, can skew our understanding and fuel unkind judgment. Reflect on the role of the media and the information we consume daily. Often, we're fed stories that are sensationalized, stories that play on our emotions, stories that are designed to sell. It's up to us to discern the facts from the fiction, the truth from the embellishment. We've seen how even the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan, was portrayed as cold and negligent, a narrative that was swiftly dismantled with the revelation of a single fact. This is a wake-up call for all of us to approach the media with a critical eye. We must question, we must probe, we must refuse to accept narratives at face value. We must remember that every story has multiple angles, every person has multiple layers, and every narrative is shaped by those who tell it. We've seen how Thomas Markle's relationship with his daughter was reduced to a spectacle for public consumption, his pain used as a tool to generate headlines. It's a stark reminder of the lengths some outlets will go to in their quest for sensationalism. We need to remember that behind every headline, there's a human story, often much more complex and nuanced than what's presented to us. Remember, the world of media is complex, but with critical thinking, we can navigate it together. It's not about taking sides, it's about understanding the dynamics at play, recognizing the power of the media, and standing up for truth, fairness, and empathy. Thank you for joining us on this journey today. Your engagement is what makes Royal Telly a community. So let's keep the conversation going. Remember, the world of media is complex, but with critical thinking, we can navigate it together. Thank you for watching, and see you next time on Royal Telly.